In this episode, we'll take a look at the Shure Duraplex Lavalier microphone, which is a specialty microphone that is water and dust resistant. In this episode, we'll take a look at the Shure Duraplex Lavalier microphone. There is also a headset microphone that is pretty much the same thing, except it comes on a little ear-hanging headset. So first of all, let's get you some raw samples of the lavalier microphone.
It is an old maxim of mine that when you have excluded the impossible, whatever remains, however improbable, must be the truth. It is an old maxim of mine that when you have excluded the impossible, whatever remains, however improbable, must be the truth.
It is an old maxim of mine that when you have excluded the impossible, whatever remains, however improbable, must be the truth. It is an old maxim of mine that when you have excluded the impossible, whatever remains, however improbable, must be the truth. Both the lavalier and the headset are IP57 rated, which means that the highest rating you can get on dust protection is a 6, and this comes in at 5. So you can get it dirty and it will still work. You shouldn't damage the microphone under most circumstances. As far as waterproofing, it did score a 7 out of 8, which means that you can put it underwater at a depth of 1 meter for up to 30 minutes and it should not damage the microphone. And so let's give you a little sample of those. All right, just gonna talk into this here and make sure we're getting levels. Checking 1, 2, 3. Checking 1, 2, 3. Now this comes in both a lavalier microphone version and a headset microphone version. As far as I can tell, the voicing is the exact same on both of them. The only difference is that the headset microphone is mounted on a little wire headset. First up, let's run through the pros. This is a small microphone. It comes in at 5 millimeters at the head, and it does have an omnidirectional polar pattern, as most lavalier microphones do. It does come with a presence cap, so if you're hiding it under clothes like we're doing here, it's under my shirt here. And what this allows you to do is that when you put it under your shirt, a lot of the high frequencies are attenuated a little bit. And so this makes sure that you're still capturing those by making it a little bit more sensitive in the higher frequencies. Now, they tout that this has RF immunity. I have not run into any issues with radio frequency interference as yet. We put a phone nearby, and those are the typical things you're going to see, but there are also other things that you could find as far as RF interference. Haven't run into any issues yet. We'll have to do an update in the comments below if I do run into issues. Just like the flagship lavalier microphone from Shure, the Twinplex, this also has that exact same Plex cabling. And what that means, it's a 1.6 millimeter cable, super tough, has a double helix twisted pair in it. I found it to be very reliable on my Twinplex, which I've had over a couple of years now. Super reliable, super durable. So it also doesn't seem to have a lot of memory effect, so it doesn't get all kinked up and stuff like that over time. It's really a very high quality cable. Comes in 2 different termination options. Those are the little connectors at the end of the microphone which determine what you can connect it to. This is really made for Shure wireless systems, to be honest. Comes in 2 options, 3-pin LEMO or an MTQG 4-pin connector. Again, both of those really optimized for the Shure wireless microphone system. So if you're trying to connect this to another system, you will have to re-terminate it and have someone help you do that, or if you're very good at soldering and you understand pinout diagrams, you could probably get it working yourself. But if you're just looking for something out of the box that's going to work with some other wireless system, this may not be the lavalier microphone for you. It does include a silicone concealer, which makes it a little easier to hide under your clothing so that when the clothing moves past the microphone, it's not creating a lot of rustling sound. So that's a nice addition. As I mentioned before, it does come with a presence cap to help you still capture those high frequencies when you have the microphone hidden underneath clothing. It does also come with foam covers, an alligator clip, and it all comes in a semi-hard case. Pricing is from $299 US through $419 US, depending on which termination you get and whether you get the headset or the lavalier microphone. We'll put links down below for details. So what are the cons with this microphone? First up, I think the limited termination or connector options is somewhat of a downside. So if you are using a different wireless system, probably not the best choice for you at this point, but it would be really great to see Shure add some additional connector options, or at least a micro dot, so that we could buy adapters and use it with different systems as well. Now, I think the first question that people may ask here is, what's the difference between Duraplex and Twinplex? Well, there are a few things. Number one, Twinplex is really Shure's flagship lavalier microphone. It's the one that they put everything into. It's a bit more expensive as well. And it, they say, has a fuller range sound. You heard the sample, so you can make a judgment for yourself. I find that lavalier microphones, because they're mounted to your body, always need a little bit of equalization or EQ in post, or if you're using them live, generally have to apply a little bit of EQ to get them sounding their best, just because any place you put them on your body will sound a little different. Every voice is going to sound different. So there are just a lot of things to take into account with lavalier microphones. And just like any other lavalier microphones, need a little bit of EQ to make them sound their best. I do love the Twinplex TL48. It is probably my go-to lavalier microphone for most purposes. It sounds great on almost every voice I've put it on, and it's been super reliable. Where the Duraplex has the advantage is, of course, in terms of durability when it comes to water and dust. So it's water and dust proof. Is that's like a selling feature. If you're going to be using this in potentially messy situations, Duraplex may be a better option. Twinplex also has more connector or termination options. So if you need to connect to other systems, so for example, my Twinplex I use with the audio limited A10 system, and I was able to get the connectors or the terminations for my particular wireless system. So you can use Twinplex with more systems. Twinplex has a dual diaphragm design, whereas Duraplex is a single diaphragm design. So evidently there are some differences in terms of the full range of audio that they each pick up. Again, use your ears to tell the difference there. Hope that was helpful. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave those down below. And if you've not already subscribed, make sure you do that. And we'll be sure to get you more great videos on how to improve your lighting and sound for video. Talk to you soon.